Hi, I'm Dave Dinkel. Welcome to Deal Talk number 7. Real life examples of doing deals with no money, no credit, and no risk. The net profits on these two deals was a little over $12,000 in each one. They were both done by the same student at different times. Property number 1, A to B closing agent, was different than the B to C closing agent, as you'll notice by the HUDs when you see them. Is the A to B HUD top half, purchase price $100,000. This is the A to B HUD bottom half, and you'll notice that in this case, our student put up a $5,000 earnest money deposit. That's because the A to B closing agent was different than our usual closing agents. $94,303.74 needed to close. Student had no money. Before the closing, the seller had to give a check for $1,000 for a water bill. This is the B to C HUD, the top half, $115,000 sale price. Bottom half of the HUD. The earnest money deposit from the end buyer was $10,000. So theoretically, if he didn't close and we lost that $5,000 earnest money deposit, we would have claimed this one and still made $5,000 without ever closing the transaction. There's a transactional funding, complete amount, 100% of what was owed on the original A to B HUD. Now here's the net profit, $17,610.66, but you have to take off the $5,000 earnest money on the first A to B HUD, which meant the actual profit is $12,610.66. Property number 2 by the same student, coincidentally, and the property was owned by the same seller. A to B closing agent, different than the B to C closing agent. Here's the top half of the HUD. $100,000 purchase price. Now, if you're saying to yourself, well, the first one was $100,000, you're absolutely correct. This was a different property, though. Here's the A to B bottom half of the HUD, $6,500 earnest money deposit. On the first property by the same seller, they requested a $5,000 earnest money deposit. In this case, the student had put up $5,000 again. However, he got an extension. When he asked for the extension, they asked for an extra $1,500, which is why it was $6,500 in this case. Funds needed to close are $93,338.52. Student had no money to close. There's the proceeds to the seller, a little over $90,000. Here's the B to C top half of the HUD, $116,000 sale price. The other one, the first one, was $115,000 sale price. Here's the B to C bottom half of the HUD, $5,000 earnest money deposit. Now this is backwards. The end buyer has put up a smaller earnest money deposit than the student did on the A to B side. Doesn't matter, he's mostly covered in the event the end buyer didn't come to closing. There's the transactional funding, so he had no money in the deal. Now there's the profit, $18,614.65. However, he had a $6,500 earnest money deposit, so his actual profit is $12,114.50. It's ironic, these properties closed more than a month apart from the same seller. They're virtually next to one another, and the profits were almost identical. So why not you? Check out our mentoring program at www.davedinkel.com.